guys, welcome back to my channel. It's the only with Thrifty Divas. So I'm gonna answer the Q&A for you right now. I had done it this morning and it was like super long, and then my phone was ready from Apple and I had to go there and transfer everything, and I even waited extra to try to send that video to myself to my new phone because it didn't transfer, and then in the end I didn't like it. So I'm gonna try to do it again. We'll see what happens. And I'm just letting you know, I might end up lighting a cigarette throughout this, and I don't want to hear how bad smoking is for you because everybody who smokes already knows. So I'm just gonna say that. But anyway, let's get started. And I got my phone back. Okay, so I wrote down everybody's questions with their name, so we'll just start with some of the easy ones. So Dina's Universe and Creative Chica Halls asked what my favorite food is. That's a really hard one for me because I'm a total foodie. I love everything. And Dina's Universe asked me what my least favorite is, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But so my favorite food, I don't know. I really do love pretty much everything, but I do love sushi, and I do love Thai food. And in terms of Greek food and what my mama makes type stuff, there's a Greek soup called yavarlakia, I can't even say it, and it's an avrolemono based soup, like the egg lemon based soup, and then it has meatballs in it, and there's rice in the meatballs mixed in. It's my favorite thing. I love it when my mom makes it. Hers is my favorite. And every time I'm not feeling well or anything, I always ask her to make it for me because I love it. And then she also makes me Greek style stuffed cabbage with ground meat and rice inside, and she makes a lemon sauce on it, and I love that too. She makes me a huge Tupperware of it and brings it over, and then I'll eat huge amounts of it for 3 days, and I love it. I could live on it probably. So my least favorite food, that's a tough one. I don't like cilantro. I know it's not a food, but I don't like cilantro. I think it tastes like soap. I know. And I don't like truffle oil. I like real truffles when you're blessed enough to be able to have them. But yeah, I don't like truffle oil, and neither does Gordon Ramsay, because it's fake and it's all chemicals. There's nothing real about it. But those are the two things that I really can't stand, are cilantro and truffle oil. And I don't know. I was gonna say I don't like ketchup, but I don't know. I don't put ketchup on my fries. Let's put it that way. I don't put anything on my fries. I just like salt and pepper. Okay, and Creative Chica Holes asked what my favorite dessert is. So my favorite dessert, that's another tough one because I love everything. But I love carrot cake is one of my favorites. I love anything mocha. I absolutely love mocha. Here at the diners and stuff, at the New York diners, a lot of times you're lucky enough to find a maple walnut cake. It's a layer cake with a maple buttercream inside and that type of stuff I love. So I like maple too. And anything almond, like marzipan, real bear claws with the almond paste inside, and pistachio, the green pistachio muffins, or macarons that are pistachio filled. That is kind of my favorite stuff. So it's a long list. But so Dina's Universe also asked if I could travel anywhere in the world and why. I've been lucky enough to travel a lot, and I've been to pretty much everywhere that I've always wanted to go. The one place left of where I want to go, I would say Cuba. And so why? Well, my fascination with Cuba started when I was a insubordinate teenager, and I found out you couldn't go there, so I wanted to go there. And I looked into ways of going there, and I found out you could fly to Mexico first and then go from Mexico to Cuba. And my mom back then was like, you do not want that mark on your passport. You will be questioned for it, and your little defiant self is not going to be enough of an answer for them. Then a few years ago, we were allowed to go to Cuba, and I got all excited. And then I was actually talking to my friend the other day, telling her that I wanted to go to Cuba, and she's like, girl, that's gone. And she sent me the article, and I'm like, oh, so we're not allowed to go to Cuba anymore. Great, thanks. So that lasted for like 5 minutes. And the other thing, like, other than it just being a beautiful place and the climate being great, and just the houses painted in beautiful colors and the palm trees and all that, it's kind of bittersweet that it's like trapped in time, because things weren't allowed to be shipped there and all that. So I feel like it's like a big time capsule, and all the cars are from like the 50s, and I just really want to go. So that's that. Mommy and Kimberly's Adventures and Homestead and Haulin and Dina's Universe asked what made me start my channel. So that's kind of a funny story. So I make like I've always been like crafty, and I cake decorate and all that, and I've taught my whole life. So my aunt and I were talking about deco mesh wreaths, and I had shown her one that I made, and she was like, I could never make that. I'm like, I bet you could. So what actually happened was I made a deco mesh wreath and I filmed it for her. This was before I knew anything. I did not know how to stitch footage together. I did not know how to edit. I didn't know how to do anything. And I was texting it to her. So I made these like short little 2-minute clips of video to be able to text it to her on how to make a deco mesh wreath. And she wrote to me afterwards. She was like, okay, well, I know I could definitely make one now, but if I have the time or the patience, that's a different story. And I like showed the videos to like my husband and my mom, and they saw it, and even my aunt, and everybody was like, you need to start a YouTube channel. You definitely explain everything well enough, and whatever. So that's kind of how it started. And then I was like watching Dollar Tree hauls too, and I'm like, I already go to Dollar Tree like all the time, and I look for the stuff that they don't normally carry. Like, I could do this. So that's kind of how it started. And I actually posted those 3 deco mesh wreath videos. It's like part 1, 2, 3, and then like the grand finale, and those are they're posted. They're like the first videos I ever posted pretty much, and it tells the story of like that's how it all started. And somebody asked me, I didn't write it down, but somebody asked me when I started. It's in the about section. I don't remember I don't remember the exact date, but I think it was like March 25th of this year. So that's when I started. So that's that. Okay. Then Sandy Bailey asks, what's my favorite restaurant? So Sandy Bailey asked my favorite restaurant. That I definitely have an answer to. It is a place called Balthazar, and it's down in the Village in New York City, and it's a French bistro. It's like a French pub bistro, so they have like traditional French food, and they also have like chicken liver pate, and they have foie gras, and just a whole bunch of stuff. They also have steak frite, so you could just get your steak and your French fries. They have these amazing mussels in this like coconut milk and lemongrass, and that's served with French fries. Just absolutely, and they serve the French fries with like a remoulade, like a mayonnaise based, and that's right up my alley because I don't put ketchup on my French fries. And then they have these huge seafood towers that are like $200. They're like 4 levels high. You get like cold lobster tail and razor clams and sea urchin, and it's just insane. And then for dessert, they have profiteroles. So they have homemade profiteroles filled with vanilla ice cream, and they come and they serve the hot chocolate sauce all over it, like right in front of you. So yeah, Balthazar in the Village is my favorite restaurant. Okay, then all right, now this is fucked. Excuse me. Whoops. Scratch that. This is messed up. MS and Crafting and Chaos with Dandis asked how old I am. Like, that's foul. Like, don't you know you're not supposed to ask a woman her age or her weight? Or at least nobody asked me my weight, because that would have been like dead wrong. But I will tell you, because I said I would answer anything. I'm 39. I'm 39 and a half. My birthday's in December, and I will be 40. And just about like 2 weeks ago, we were coming home. Me and my husband were coming home from my mom's house, and it was like late at night. And I like turned around to him because I just like had this epiphany. I said, how old am I? He's like, I'm pretty sure you're 39. And I'm like, what? And I like had this like semi breakdown because for some reason I like thought I was turning 39. And I feel like I wasn't like psychologically or emotionally prepared or equipped to be spending my last year in my 30s, or to be approaching the big 40. And yeah, so I don't know what happened, but that's the answer. So now you know. So I got 6 months left. Thanks for bringing up that painful thought, guys. Anyway, moving on. MS asks, where did I meet my husband? So I've told this story before. We had mutual friends. I was friends with some of his friends through various places. I actually went to the same high school as one of his friends, but he left a little before me because he's older than me, but we like knew the same people and whatever. So I was friends with a few of his friends, and when I lived alone, they used to come over all the time for barbecues and fire pits and movie night and all that stuff. And I used to see my now husband around, and it was just like a hi and bye, like smile at each other thing. And I started asking him to come over for the barbecues, and he always said no. He said no like 5 times, and I'm like, what is the big deal? Like, come hang out with your own friends, like they'll be here. It's not like a little intimate date or anything. Like, come hang out. No, he said no to me like 5 times. So one time he finally said yeah, and I made ribs that night, and I always say it was the ribs that won his heart. So I made ribs that night, and then we had s'mores in the fire pit, and then we all went inside and watched a scary movie. And basically it was all downhill from there. So like 2 days later, he came over like on his own volition. He's like, I'm in the neighborhood, are you home? I'm like, yeah. So he stopped by and we talked a little bit, and that's when he told me that he did like me or whatever. And then that night when he was leaving, he said he wanted to take me out like on a real date. So 2 days later, we went on our first real date. And then basically he never left after that. He moved in 2 months later, and the rest is history. So that was that. That's how we met. What else we got? MS and Pamela's World ask how many kids I have. I have just one. I have just my son. He is 2 years and 8 months. His birthday is October of 2016. So that's that. Let's see. I Love Couponing asks if I was named after anyone and if my name has a meaning. So I was named after somebody. I was named after my father's mother. He fought for the name. My mother didn't want it. My father won. I have a cousin in Greece who's actually named the same thing. She's like my father's brother's daughter, and she's named the same thing as well. And my parents were married for 5 years, but they got divorced when I was like 3, and when I was like 5-ish, my father left for Greece and never came back. So I mean, like, we knew he was never coming back. It's not like he was like, I'm going on vacation. No, like, he left for Greece. He moved there and never came back. So I never saw him. We don't keep in touch. He's never checked in. He doesn't care. He doesn't even know he has a grandson. Nothing. Doesn't know I'm an attorney. Nothing. So his loss. But yeah, so that's where my name came from. And also, it does have a meaning. In ancient Greek, it translates to God's vision. So that's what my name means. That's me. All right. Then, okay, so I Love Couponing, Bonnie Menzel, I'm sorry if I butcher anybody's name, and Robin Dismuke, all kind of asked the same thing. What's the next step after law school? When will I practice law? Will I continue to teach, or will I practice law? So they were all kind of in the same thing. So I've decided I will not continue to teach, at least not right now. So let me just tell you what's going on with that. So I'm going to mix it with another question so that I can cover them all. So Crafting in Chaos with Dandis also asked what jobs I've had. So we'll just do like the adult ones. So at my 4-year school, I was majoring in English and minoring in women's studies because my mom wanted me to go to law school. So that was like the plan, and I knew that law schools liked English majors. Then, like right before my senior year of college, I decided I did not want to be an attorney. So I went back to my 2-year school and talked to a professor who I had that I loved, who was a retired detective and a lawyer and all this stuff. So we talked about it. He told me about this school in Connecticut, the University of New Haven, and their amazing forensic science program, and the Henry Lee Institute of Forensic Science, and that's where I decided I wanted to go. So I then switched my major and my minor. So I majored in women's studies and I minored in English because it got me out a semester earlier. And then I got my master's of science in forensic science with a concentration in advanced investigation. And while I lived in Connecticut for grad school, I worked crime scene at the Milford Detective Bureau ID unit. So I worked crime scene for 2 years there. And I've always bartended and waitressed, like always. So I even bartended while I was working at the Detective Bureau and in grad school as well. Then when I came back from grad school, I got my first teaching job at a local college 2 weeks after I finished grad school. So I've been teaching college since 2005. I've worked at many, many institutions as an adjunct. Then in 2012, I got my first full-time position ever, the dream job, what I worked my whole life for. And I was a full-time professor at Hudson Valley Community College. Upstate New York. Dream job. I couldn't handle the location. I found it very depressing, and I was all by myself. No dog, no relationship, no nothing. And it's about 4.5 hour drive from here. So I just couldn't handle it, and I had to make the hardest decision of my life. And I only stayed there for a semester, and I moved back. And I moved back to adjunct again, and whatever. So, and then somebody asked, like, what made me decide to go to law school as well. So this kind of takes care of all of that. So I have applied. So at the one institution that I've been at, the local community college here, I've been adjuncting there for 13 years. I have applied for a full-time position at the 3 different campuses that they have of that community college. Full-time positions 4 different times between the 3 campuses, and I never got it any time. The most recent time that I applied for that full-time position was only a couple of months ago, back in April. Just recently, I got what I like to call my FU letter. They sent me an FU letter. Once again, thank you, your application, blah, blah, blah. Good luck. Okay. I told my mom, and now mind you, my mom has been full-time at this community college for like 20 years. I told my mom, I said, it's a shame that I'm leaving with a bad taste in my mouth, but literally, like, I gave the finger, like, and I was like, I'm done. I'm done because I'll never be good enough for them. And part of why I went to law school was I'm like, maybe now I'll get the full-time position. Still didn't, okay? And the campus that I'm at, I've been there for 13 years, and I was very upset that I didn't get like any congratulations or anything for finishing law school, for passing the bar. I got published in a national journal. I got a 40-page article published in a national journal. These are things that the institution wants. More degrees, publications, and I was doing it while I was there. So I was adding to their institution, and it still wasn't good enough for them. So now I'm done. I got an assignment again for the fall. I'm not doing it. I have to call my boss and tell him I'm not doing it. Enough is enough. I never got a nothing. Not a good job. The only yay, nothing. And I always saw little cakes and stuff for other people who got little promotions. Like, congratulations on your promotion, yay! And nothing. And I still wasn't good enough for that school. So unfortunately, after 13 years, I'm going to leave with a bad taste in my mouth. But I'm going to go practice law. And that's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to go help as many people as possible. And somebody asked, like, what I plan on doing or whatever. So I'm not going to teach. And I'm going to apply at legal aid. I want to be a public defender. And I will go wherever they need me, whatever department they need me in. A friend of mine works for the Children's Law Bureau. I would love that. And another friend of mine works for the district court, which is just criminal. So honestly, wherever they need me is where I believe that God wants me, and that's where I will work. And I will help people who can't afford an attorney, and I'll be the best damn attorney that they can get for them, even if they're not paying me. And yeah, so it pays very little, but it does have its own benefits. You can get a student loan forgiveness after 10 years and instead of 25, and so it has its own benefits. But that is what I want to do. So I will not teach anymore. Not right now. Who knows what life holds later on. But yeah, but it's a damn shame. So that killed a lot right there. So Robin Dismuke also asked, how far does my mother live? She lives 22 minutes away, door to door, driving. No, I never timed it. Yeah, 22 minutes away, door to door. Crafting and Chaos and Robin Dispute asked, do I have any siblings? No, I do not. I'm an only child, but my aunt that I always talk about, Michelle in North Carolina, the reason why I named this channel Thrifty Divas with an S, in case she ever wanted to collab with me, which hasn't happened yet. But so my Aunt Michelle that I always talk about is only 6 years older than me. So I grew up basically feeling like I have a sister, you know? So I had I had I had an ex-boyfriend once tell me, "You're amazingly well adjusted for an only child. It's probably because of your close in age aunt and uncle." I'm like, the hell? But anyway, so I'm apparently well adjusted, in case you were wondering. So, what else we got? Homesteading and Holland. How long have I been married, and what's the best thing I ever found at DT? I thought about the best thing I ever found at DT, and I really can't even answer it. To me, it's based on like what the normal retail is. So, like the Dr. Scholl stuff, like stuff like that, or even the Never Wet, the Rust-Oleum, the two-step thing. Like, I paid $16 for that. I have, like, before it showed up at Dollar Tree because we needed some. So just things like that. So anything that like retails between $15 and $20, like, I consider a damn good day. Like, that's how I can't, nothing like pops out, you know. All right, what else we got? Oh, Crafting in Chaos with Dandis asks, do I want more children? So I do want more children, but now you know my age, so that's probably never going to happen. And the other thing is also my son is a double rainbow baby. I had 2 miscarriages in 5 months' time before I got pregnant with him. And so I basically like, consider him a miracle. I was also, I developed gestational diabetes while I was pregnant with him. So I was shooting insulin twice a day. I also found out I was pregnant in my 2nd semester of law school. So that was fun. I took no time off. I had a C-section, a scheduled C-section, an elective C-section. I took off a total of 5 days from law school and work after my C-section. I went right up. I stopped on a Friday. I had him on a Tuesday, and I was back the following Tuesday or Monday. Yeah, and he was in the NICU. I came home before he did. So anyway, yeah. So do I? Oh, and I blew out my spine. This pregnancy blew out my spine. I live in chronic pain. I was supposed to have spine surgery last June 19th, but I canceled the day before because I read research and it just didn't seem like a good idea to me. So I'm just kind of like fighting with pain every day. Okay, and how long have I been married? I totally forgot to answer that. Sorry. Homesteading and Holland. I just celebrated my 2-year wedding anniversary. We got married June 17th, 2017, but I told you our first date was June 12th, 14. So what happened was 18 months after we started dating, my now husband, took me to Vermont the day after my birthday for my birthday. And when we were out to dinner, he proposed to me, and I was not expecting it at all. So I got proposed to in Vermont. And then I set the date for like 18 months after that. So, and then 2 months after we got engaged, I found out I was pregnant. I'm like, whoops, daisy. So by the time we got married, we were together for 3 years, and my son was 8.5 months old at our wedding. So, hey, we make plans and God laughs. That's what I always say. So we've been together a total of 5 years this month, but married for 2. And we have a 2-year, 8-month-old. Go figure. All right. Oh, and Lorraine Southwick asks, what is the tattoo on my inner left arm? So, Lorraine, it is a lotus flower, and it is actually perfectly centered, but it only looks centered when I like hold my arm down, like, you know, down and out, and then you could see that it's centered. Any other time it looks like it's off and on the top and all. But it is a perfectly centered lotus flower. That is what is on my arm. Okay, I think I covered everything. And I just, yeah, I don't know. I think I really do. I think I covered everything. So if I missed anything, Just keep it in mind, and I'll do another one of these in a month or so. So if you think of any part twos, then we'll do it then. But that's it. So hope you guys enjoyed. Hope it's not horrendously long. Love you all. I do have a Dollar Tree coming. I'm opening up Bonnie's gift tomorrow on air. I haven't opened it yet. Sunday I have an Aldi walkthrough for you, through the aisle of shame, that I like to call it. And yeah, I think that's it for now. Oh, and I'm calling the winner of the 200 subscriber giveaway on Sunday as well. Entries close tomorrow, Saturday. All right, so that's it for me, guys. Until the next video, until we meet again, stay blessed, my friends. I love each and every one of you. And thank you for participating in this. I did not expect so many questions. I hope you had fun. Bye.